Hello everyone, so I thought it'd be nice to do a video for people who are looking for low maintenance plants, people who don't want to be helicopter parents to their plants that they bring home, and just want to every once in a while check on them and give them whatever they need at that point in time. So the first thing I'm going to start with is plants that are not pet friendly. So we are going to start with those first. So the first one I'm going to show you is a ZZ plant. I'm not even going to attempt to say the scientific name. That's why it goes by ZZ plant. This guy is great. You can put it in a room with no light at all and it will maintain itself. Give it just any light at all and it will give you slow growth. Give it a grow light and it'll explode for you like this one has. I've heard stories of people forgetting this in the trunk of their car or purposely putting it in a closet for a month and it didn't grow and it didn't look so great, but it didn't die. So this is a plant, you water it maybe every 4 to 6 weeks. Don't think about it because it's got rhizomes that look like, almost like, they look to me like, I don't know if I can show them to you. Almost look like potatoes underneath the soil there. I don't know if you can see them. It's hard to show it. Right there. It's a little round thing right there by the base of the plant. That's where it stores water for a rainy day. So if you happen to forget it, walk past it 6, 7 weeks in a row, and you're like, ooh, crap. The plant's gonna be just fine because it has a reserve. The next one I'm gonna show you is a Dracena, used to be known as Sansevieria. This is a snake plant, also known as mother-in-law's tongue. This is my Cibo Blue. The great thing about this type of snake plant, this one in particular doesn't get ginormous. It doesn't take up a ton of space, so if you don't have a lot of space for it, that's great. You don't have to water it that often. The less light it gets, the less water it requires. So, great plant. Next one I'm going to show you is the Aglaonema that I have. This is also known as a Chinese evergreen. I'm not sure of the specific variety of this plant. It was an impulse buy from a woman that had a table set up at a music fest. I brought it home, didn't even give it a grow light, and went 2 months without even needing any water. It did start to show that it was stretching for light. It wasn't really putting a lot of growth out, so it was also losing some of the redness in its leaves. So that kind of told me, hey, if you want to keep the redness in my leaves and you want to have increased growth, just give me a little light. And all I've done is give it a little grow light, and it has gone from this to this, and now it's given me a second offshoot. So wonderful plant, and I really don't have to water it hardly at all, and don't really have to pay attention to it. In fact, I have it on my floor underneath one of my tables with that little grow light, and there's been times where I'm like, ooh, I don't remember the last time I've watered you or even looked at you. I am so sorry. That's just fine. Doesn't even care. Okay, so the next plant I'm going to show you is a Scindapsus. It goes by the street name Satin Pothos. It is not a pothos at all. It's a Scindapsus. It's a little bit different, but it has the same care requirements. The only difference about this guy is Scindapsus in general will put, even if you give them perfect conditions, they grow a lot slower than their pothos buddies do. This guy is in my bathroom with a grow light and it has no windows and it's putting out a lot of new growth, okay? But it doesn't require a ton of care. I walk by it a week and a half, and then I check to see if it needs water. And because it doesn't get a ton of light, I can go 6 weeks and not have to water this girl, and she does just fine. The next one I'm going to show you is a pothos. Grab this real quick. I got this idea from Sheffield Plants. He's also a vlogger, YouTuber that focuses on plant care. He suggested, hey, you know what would be really cool if you put a whole bunch of different types of plants in the same pot, and hey, you know, as long as they require the same care, they'll just be visually stunning and they'll be a conversation starter. This is the case. So the first couple plants I had as a plant owner when I started my plant journey again was a green pothos and a a golden pothos. So I put it in the back corner of my patio. It hardly got any measurable sun at all, and it didn't die. It did put out a little bit of new growth. Even in that environment, it did put some growth out for me. When I brought it inside for the fall season and I gave it its own grow light in a west-facing window, I mean, that plant, both of those plants have gone crazy, but the golden pothos more than the regular pothos. It's wrapping around my office as we speak. And I just love pothos in general. They're so forgiving. You can water it, don't water it, give it light, don't give it light. I mean, the growth will be relative to what you give to it, but they come in so many different varieties. This one you're looking at here is a neon. This one here is an emerald green. It gives you this beautiful variegation. I just think that's so cute. This one here is my neon queen. Has a lot of variegation in it with a neon green color. And my absolute favorite here is my global green. I just love the subtlety of the variegation and the different colors of green that this girl puts out for me. So beautiful. Now this poor little girl in here, this one's an Enjoy, and I guess I didn't really think it through when I put her in here with the rest of them, because Enjoys, even though they're pothos, they're slower growers because they have less chlorophyll to make all that yummy, you know, food from chlorophyll. So it takes them a lot longer to grow. So she's kind of being squeezed out, so to speak. But she's still putting up a pretty good fight for her territory in the pot. So that's a really cool thing about the pothos. You can just walk by them days and days and days and forget to water them. They'll do just fine, unless you have one of the variegated varieties like this, where you do have to give them a certain type of light and a little bit more attention. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show you is my string of hearts. This is the green, the regular variety. It's important to note that variegated plants in any type of plant is going to take a little bit more care, a little bit more thought, because you have to give them more light than you would the green buddies. This one does require more light to not get bald on top, but relative to the light, I maybe have to water this, I'd say once a week, maybe, and maybe every 10 days. It doesn't really take a whole lot of thought. I just give it its grow light, the grow light comes on, and then once every week, week and a half, I give it some water. Let's see. Another one I think is pretty good for people who don't want to hover is, this one's losing a leaf, is succulents in general. Okay, this is my husband's. He doesn't really pay attention to it. Oh, it's losing another one. What's going on with that? I don't know. It's losing two of its older leaves. Anyway, so this girl, I don't water this at all, hardly at all. It likes bright light. As long as it's getting bright light, maybe every month, month and a half, you let it soak water up from a tray, and it'll do just fine for you. actually losing some of its older foliage, which, you know, isn't abnormal for a plant. It lost 2 of them. Yeah. But it's very low maintenance. You put it in a sunny window and water it maybe once every month and a half to 2 months. It'll soak up the water for itself as long as you bottom water it, and it'll thrive. The next one I'm going to show you is a Hoya. I do love Hoya. I mean, you see I have a Hoya corner back here, or should I say Hoya row. Hoya, as long as they have the right light, they want to completely dry out in between waterings, and it can take anywhere, depending on how thirsty the Hoya is, anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks for it to fully dry out. That's what makes it such a great plant for people who don't really want to hover around them. This one is my Hoya Kentiana. She's got a lot of variegation, and she's getting some really nice sun stress going on within that variegation, which I love. I like to sun stress my plants, which is different than sun damage or sunburn. It just changes the color within the leaves. As long as she's getting bright indirect light, you can go a week to 10 days, maybe 2 weeks for some of my plants, some of my Hoya, and not even have to pay attention to them. They'll take care of themselves. Last but not least, and this is a plant I think doesn't get enough love, air plants. And they come in many different sizes. This is one of my large girls. All I have to do is run it under a faucet once a week, maybe once every 10 days. It will soak up the water through the surface of its leaves, and as long as I give it some bright indirect light, in fact this would even handle, I would say, some bright light and it would be okay. It thrives for me. So these are all different types of plants relative to what kind of care you're looking to not have to really focus on. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, keep planting on and giving your plants lots of planty love.